Welcome to Shift Mobility. As the introduction with you probably reveals, we will talk about car sharing. More specifically about access and availability. We'll tap into the area of car sharing, mobility communities and membership modalities within the mobility world. We've shared music and we shared films and even accommodation for quite some years now. And the question is, or it's not a question anymore, now the time has come for us to share cars. I am Sören Steckmest. I work for Arvato. We provide order-to-gas solutions within Europe. And with me today, I have Adam. Adam is working at Lynk & Co. and he is the head of car sharing. Could you please give an introduction?
Sure thing. So Adam Broadbent, head of car sharing at Lynk & Co. in Europe. So for the last 2 years, I've been building and now we're rolling out our first sharing product, which is our peer-to-peer car sharing platform. What does that mean in practice? Well, it means that any Lynk & Co. member with a car is going to have the option to share that car with their friends, their family, or indeed other members of the Lynk & Co. community. They'll be able to set their own prices, offset their monthly costs, and this feature is going to be available in every Lynk & Co. car that comes to Europe, starting, of course, with our 01 that launched a few months ago.
Cool. I mean, I can imagine it's a bit different to share a car than to share a movie. And I know from a payment point of view, it's a bit more complex to orchestrate the payment flow there. But I mean, as a lender, it must be a tremendous value to be able to share your car when you're not using it, or for another person to have access to a car when he needs one.
Sure, and it might be different to sharing a film, but as you mentioned in your intro, we're already sharing our apartments, and it's very similar to sharing your apartment. Good for our members with a car, as we've already said, good for anyone that wants a premium mobility solution, but also good from a sustainability point of view, because we have these big, expensive assets, cars, and they sit stationary for 96% of the time. We have to do better than that. We have to utilize them more, and that's what we're really hoping to achieve with our peer-to-peer sharing platform.
Cool. I mean, maybe we should, instead of talking here, we should show you how it could look in real life. Your colleague David made a little movie on how this works, and this will be shown now.
Hi, I'm David, and I guess I'm best described as the head geek at Lynk & Co. And I've been behind the development of both digital keys and the car sharing business model, so I'd like to give you a little bit of insight into both, describe how it works, and a little bit of the technology. Okay, so I'm sitting in a Lynk & Co. 01 European specification. And one of the unique things about this car that no other car on the market really does is that I can log into this car with my profile and have my settings and my profile downloaded over the internet into the car. And in this car, when I do that, you can see that I'm the owner. And as the owner, I can make my car available to other people to use. Not just anybody, people within the Lynk & Co. community. When I do that, I can make use of all of the dead time for this car. You see, we've worked out that roughly about 96% of the time, most cars sit unused, either outside your home or the office. Well, this Lynk & Co. car doesn't have to do that. It's better for the planet, and it's better for my pocket, because I can actually rent the car out to other Lynk & Co. members. And I can do that from the car using the in-car app once I'm logged in, and download my profile over the internet. When I do that, all my settings, my seat position, the display settings, my Spotify account, my radio line account, all of these things that are personal to me are loaded into the car. And of course, the other thing that it means, especially as this is my car, I can make it available for other people to use. if I make it available to other Lynk & Co members, then they can use my car and pay for that time. Of course, they have to be signed up, they have to have downloaded the app, and registered, had a credit check and confirmed their driving license. But as long as they do, I can make this car available. It's now from now until 1:35 p.m. It'll show in their Lynk & Co app. They'll be able to see it on a map. And then the technology kicks in, because at the time when the booking starts, a digital key is sent to the user's phone. And at the same time, a digital lock is downloaded into this car. And that means during the time of the booking, a potential user can open the car and start the car with only their mobile phone. They use the car for the time that's allocated and they need to bring it back when the owner wants it. And when they finish the booking and lock the car, both the digital key in the phone and the digital lock in the car just vanish. And the car is set back to mine. They can't use it again. And all of these things I can do with my companion app as well. So if I click on share, I haven't had a booking yet, but you can see sharing is now on and it ends at 1:35. If there are differences, for example, in the fuel level when the booking's returned, we can adjust those and bill accordingly. But generally speaking, at the end of every booking, the user rates the car, that it was in the right place at the right time, that it was in good condition, and the owner rates the user, that they brought the car back and looked after it well. And on the basis that that is the case, in almost all circumstances, we expect the business model to run itself with very little support from us. But of course, our engagement center is always there to support if there's anything that our customers or our members that are using cars needs.
Thank you, David. Most enlightening. Adam, you already started offering sharing product in the Netherlands and in Sweden. How has that been received?
Yeah, so launched Sweden and the Netherlands markets a couple of weeks ago and really seen a lot of interest, both from customers and press alike. Really looking forward to rolling out the next 5 European markets, and as we get more and more cars coming through as well and getting more cars on the street, we only expect it to grow from here.
I'm a little bit intrigued. How did this start? Was this the plan from the beginning to add sharing, or did it evolve in course of the journey?
So it was always an idea to have the Lynk & Co cars be shareable, but we really had to work out exactly how that was going to work. But listen, the reason Lynk & Co exists is to do things a little bit differently. As our CEO Alain is fond of saying, the world doesn't need a new car company, it needs a different one. And I think that really comes across both with our month-to-month subscription product and with our peer-to-peer car sharing platform.
Yeah, and I think you certainly are. I mean, it's obvious you need an app to, as David showed us, to operate your car, and a phone to download an app. But that is actually it, or?
Yeah, so the entire sharing is both managed and booked through the Lynk & Co mobile app. And we're really pleased because we've managed to get everything into it. So you can do the complete sign-up flow, including ID verification, payment methods and everything else. But then using our digital key technology, the phone is actually all you need to unlock and start the car. And that just massively lowers the barrier to entry so that we can get as many people borrowing cars as possible.
I mean, sharing your car will give the lender an income and the access availability. I mean, and this is what is one of the parts that Arvato has been helping you with in the course of this journey, basically to orchestrate the payment flows between the borrower and the lender. But I think there are also many other aspects of this considered your offer. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. One of the major things is insurance, of course. So every car sharing booking is fully insured. They also are fully covered by roadside assistance. So if there is an accident, then the car will actually automatically send out an SOS and send out emergency services, tow trucks, etc. We have the Call Us button in the car. So if there's anything that happens during your booking and you just want to speak to our engagement center, it's literally one button press in the vehicle. So a lot going on in the background, but the red thread is just make this as simple to use as possible, both to make the car available, and it's pretty much one tap from the mobile app, all the way through to booking the car and just making it as seamless as possible.
I mean, car sharing has been around for quite some while now in the bigger cities, and you can share a car, but this basically changes the whole structure of it, to my mind at least, because I live in a very small town and we do not have car sharing options there, but with the Lynk & Co offer, I could actually have a car sharing offer, or?
Yeah, so as David has said to me many times, what's the minimum size of a peer-to-peer car sharing fleet? And the answer can be one. If you have one car in an area that is perhaps smaller and doesn't have the density of a big city, we think the car sharing can really come in and fill that gap. So then you can share your car. One car can service 20, 30, 100 people, your friends, your neighbors, anyone that's basically within walking distance.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I will hope to be sharing my car very soon to my neighbors, get some money from them.
Sure.
I mean, you and I shall not go into technology here. That's more David's part. But how technology is applied is important for you, I have understood during the course of the journey here.
Yeah, so Lynk & Co isn't a technology company, we're a mobility company. But we have this focus on the customer experience and in making everything as hassle-free as possible. What that really means is that we use technology only where we think it has a big improvement on the customer journey. And there's a couple of examples of that. The first would be how we're handling the fuel in the car. So rather than building some sort of complicated fuel card system or something messy like that, we simply measure the fuel level at the start and at the end of the booking, and then we will add or remove the cost of the fuel depending on how much fuel is left in the car at the end. So it's all super simple in the background. And the other thing is we own this entire ecosystem. So it's not just the mobile app, it's not just the backend, it's also the car, which is built with the sharing in mind. We have our in-car sharing app so that if you were to book my car, you get into it and it will say, "Hello, Sören," and it'll guide you through your entire booking and send you reminders when you need to return to the pickup and drop-off location, linked through to the navigation system. It's pretty cool.
I agree. I mean, and you launched in several countries now in Europe, and when it comes to payments, my field, it's a little bit different how people want to pay and how they act when they, in view of the customer journey, so to say. How are your thoughts around that?
So for us, it all comes down to simplicity and ease of use. So one payment method across all of our markets, which is just credit or debit card. So you just add your credit and debit card and you're done. Of course, if we get feedback from our members that they'd like to have something different, then we'll look into it.
I mean, you are actually delivering an experience to your customers. I'm used to, or we as Arvato are more used to delivering the backbone, basically, things that are not seen. It should work. If it not works, it's seen, but it should work and no one should know about it. But you are one of the, we can say you are pioneer when it comes to peer-to-peer sharing in Europe. And how do you want your customers to perceive Lynk & Co?
So we've already talked a little bit about how Lynk & Co exists to do things a bit differently. But that doesn't come at the expense of what I would call trust. So within a peer-to-peer platform, you have to have trust because there's trust between the community members to share their cars with each other. So of course we have a star rating system, but more than that, it's really baked into the platform, this whole concept of doing the ID verification, doing the credit check, doing the risk check, address checks. We basically have a very tight sign-up process, which you guys have helped us to develop. And that gives us a pool, a trusted community that can then help each other out, right? and then you can charge whatever price you like. So maybe mates rates for some people and market price for others, but it's basically when we have this pool of trusted community members, and that grows over time, we can start doing a lot of cool stuff with that.
Yeah, I will not grill you a lot more. I mean, but I have one last question. I mean, the sharing piece, it's new and it's cool. How do you think this will develop? Do you have ideas for the future? Do you have something you can share? What will happen with Lynk & Co or this product in the future?
So I have a lot of ideas, but it's not really about what I want. It's about what our community and what our members would like to do with this technology. The reason that we launched with the peer-to-peer is actually, frankly, because it's quite hard to do. You have to have the digital key, you have to have the payments, you have to have a lot of pieces in place, the insurance. But once you've got that, it gives you a very solid base to develop new products. So we're going to launch the peer-to-peer. I'm sure we're going to get feedback from our customers about additional features within that. But what I'm really excited about is where our members want to take this. And I'm sure they're going to come up with features and business models that you and I haven't even thought of yet. And we're very excited.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Adam, for the insights. Thank you, David, for giving us a view on how it works. And that would be all from us, from Lynk & Co. and from Arvato.